China has sent a stern warning to Trump over his fantasies of stealing Greenland. Keep China out of your mouth. President Trump has ramped up his rhetoric about literally taking over the island recently, warning Denmark that if they don't sell the territory to the US, that he'll use other means, warning, you can do this the easy way or the hard way. And who is Trump trying to frame as the bad guy here? Well, you guessed it, China. He started to claim the reason the US needs to own Greenland is because if they don't, China or Russia will. For the record, China has never had any ambitions to take over Greenland or any other overseas region. It's the US that has 800 military bases around the world, and it's the US that has 100+ troops in Greenland. That's why China has come out telling Trump to stop bringing China into his imperialistic rhetoric, with Foreign Affairs spokesperson Guo Jiakun warning Trump to keep China out of it. Today we'll go beyond the propaganda and look at all the details. This is Reports on China. I'm Andy here in Shanghai. Let's get reporting. If you're thinking it's absolutely insane that the President of the United States is so blatantly and callously trying to force one of its former NATO allies to give up territory, you'd be right. But that's exactly what's happening with Trump and the Danish territory of Greenland, with the president, just days after invading Venezuela and kidnapping its president, threatening to use force to take over the island if the government of Denmark don't sell it. He claims to need the territory for security reasons, mainly because it sits between North America and the Arctic, making it a perfect location for early missile warning systems, monitoring vessels, and so on. But the government of Denmark and the people of Greenland have said, no, the island is not for sale. That forced Trump to ramp up his rhetoric, threatening tariffs on his own so-called allies in the region who disagree with him annexing the island. On top of that, he hasn't ruled out force, saying we can do this the easy way or the hard way. When asked by a journalist recently how far he'd go to take over the island, Trump replied, "You'll find out." With such violent, threatening, and imperialistic language, you'd think it would be clear as day who the bad guy is here. The United States of America, of course. But Trump is now trying to spin the blame to others. The big boogeymen that he thinks people in the West will still blame for everything. Russia and China. And that's quite ironic considering what Trump and the MAGA movement call Russiagate. The conspiracy that he was working closely with Russia that plagued his entire first presidency. He recently said that if Washington doesn't take over Greenland, then China or Russia will, which is, of course, absolutely ludicrous. China has never shown interest in taking over any foreign territory, least of all an island thousands of kilometers away. It's the US that has 800 military bases around the world, and it's the US that has more than 100 troops stationed on Greenland who've been there since the end of World War II. So China has let Trump know that enough is enough, warning him to keep China out of his mouth when fantasizing about taking over the world. On Monday, China's Foreign Affairs spokesperson Guo Jiakun made it clear where China stands, saying, "The international law, underpinned by the purposes and principles of the UN Charter, is the foundation of the current international order and must be upheld. We urge the US to stop using the so-called China threat as a pretext for itself to seek selfish gains." And that is exactly right. For too long, the US has scaremongered about China to cover its own back, spreading conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory to keep the wool over the eyes of ordinary Westerners, making them believe that the US and the West is right and good and moral, while China is wrong and dark and dangerous. But with the internet and with China's visa-free travel policies and more, that charade is hard to keep up. No one believes it anymore, not even Trump himself. But that doesn't stop them from lying, unfortunately, which is what Trump is doing now. Of course, the China-US relationship is extremely important to both sides. So this warning from Guo Jiakun will hopefully force Trump to tone it down. What he's doing is blatant imperialism, threatening force and violence to annex foreign territory, and territory of a supposed ally at that. Trump needs to own it and stop with the false pretenses. Despite trying to frame himself as the peace president, he's perhaps worse than any US president before him. Let's just hope he doesn't go much further. And on that note, that will be it for today, you guys. But as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Will China's warning stop Trump from spouting crap? And do you think he'll really use force to take over Greenland? Do let me know down below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help the channel. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.